Well, we have valves when they come in. We have to scan them in and kind of see if there's any issues with them when they come in for repair. And we see if we can read anything off the tests regarding if we can see a problem. And then from there we would start to take it apart, separating the two components and individually assess the parts within and see what we can kind of see.
This is an instrument that in a refinery, they'll have wires hooked up to this, then they'll have a supply line. So the guy in the control room will sit here and give it a signal, hey man, we need 25%, which they'll give it your signal, and a valve will open 25%, which will be just, you know, just a little bit. It goes in quarters, 0, 25, 50, 75, and 100. So that's what this is. Then you got your gauges telling you how much supply you got from the regulator and how much output you got going to your valve.
This is our ValveLink software, and so we use this software to do diagnostics and tests while we're here at the shop and in the field. The ValveLink software does anything from measure the condition of the valve to the condition of the actual positioner that's on the valve. And so our Fisher mounted DVC controller can use heart communication and field bus, and that software is built into the ValveLink software. And so we're able to do all kinds of tests to the valves, and then also save that information so that we're able to recall it later if we need to.
I worked as a mechanic, which we had a lot of pumps, and I was in an aircraft carrier, the USS Ronald Reagan, and I was in a reactor department.
What makes this work interesting? This work is it's different every day. We don't do the same thing every day. It's always something new. We travel, we get to go see all kind of different things. I've been to gas pipelines, production plants. They've sent me up to Marshalltown, Iowa to visit them kind folks up there, and got my training in up there for level 1 tech. That was a 3-week program, and it was pretty insightful as well as inspiring as to see what can be done as far as growth and development for each individual.
I've kind of been talking with management here, and there's a management training program and a management development program that I'm going to try and get into and work my way through, so that as I'm able to get all the experience here on the floor and on the shop and in the field, I'm able to plug that in on the business end, so use technical experience and business knowledge to be able to go further in the company.
What we do is we train the technicians here on site to go to our customers' facilities. When they go to the customer facilities, they have to know and have to be understanding in the process, how a chemical plant or a process plant or a process loop may work. This tool right here allows our technicians to create a process loop within our DeltaV control system. We're able to build the graphics, start from scratch, assign I/O, make the actual loop function, and gives them more of an understanding of how a process actually works within a customer's system. We go to another extent. We allow our technicians to dismantle, completely reassemble this loop. There's 2 independent loops on here, one being pressure control loop, one being a flow control loop. Ultimately, we work with the safety systems like this SIS, as well as field bus cutovers, in which we can swap an instrument or train on instruments to where we can change out the instruments without taking the loop back down or shutting the process down.
Where I work in Alberta, it's mostly, we would see these valves within the oil and gas industry, but they are within the medical industry, as well as any process control that is required.
I'm responsible for the day-to-day operations in the shop, troubleshooting, putting product through, as well as all the guys that are in the field. I'll set up the jobs and I'll go through, and if they have any issues, and I'll work with our local business partner and the customer to make sure everything gets done at the end of the day.
Before I came to Emerson, I was actually out of high school. I went to Texas A&M, so I was an engineering student there for 3 years, and I came home just to try. I needed to start working and stuff like that, so I came home and started here as a temporary worker and kind of got a feel for everything. And about 6 months in, they offered me a position, and I started doing field service, and I've kind of moved around everywhere in the shop so far. I've done evaluation and assembly and all that, so kind of able to plug in wherever we need to here. But I am going back to school now. I do school during the day, and then I work at Emerson in the afternoon, and so I'm getting a management degree.
And I am testing a valve here for the customers. We are making sure that what is allowed passes. So I introduce 50 pounds of air to simulate the pressure that they put in the refineries through their pipelines. Once I do that, I open my valve to show the customer that it's actually flowing, and then I close my valve so we can see the shutoff. As I do that, you will see here on this gauges exactly what you are leaking, and you know whether it passes or not.
Because of your travel stops, And so like if you have to have it stop in a certain position other than using this, you can adjust these, make sure it goes a full 90 degrees or 60 degrees or whatever the customer wants. And whatever they want, we'll provide.
First 10 years, I traveled all over North America to different sites. I love that. Got to see a lot of cities in the States.
The best part of the job is just you're constantly learning. You're always troubleshooting. I was that kid that definitely took things apart all the time and wanted to know how they worked and why they worked or why they didn't work. And that's basically what my job entails.
I get to get my hands dirty and do what I do best, is work on valves, work on equipments, and mechanical stuff.
Over the initial 5 years, I did kind of week-long courses specializing in special products, different processes. Since then, I've done some level 1 and level 2 tech training, and recently I've gone for Emerson Leadership course to kind of help me in my leadership role here as a lead technician.
Other training is hands-on, a lot of hands-on, a lot of working back and forth with the guys in the shop and different things that we do. Even reading through manuals and looking on the internet and researching any kind of products on the internet that we carry and trying to get information from that. It's all training. Every day it's training.
We have the safety meeting through every shift. We talk about safety, what's everybody concerned about safety, and what improvements we need to make on safety. We started about, I don't know, 6, 7 years ago, and it's just continued ever since, and from shift to shift, no matter what, we have this meeting. Let's talk about safety.
Top of that, why I like working with Emerson, the main reason is the people, above all else.
I'm grateful that I was offered the opportunity to come here and work for IVS because so far I'm loving it.